Hey everybody! So this is just a quick little video on how to resize your waist belt because time and time again I've gotten waist belts that were too small even though like they didn't have a size that was smaller or like I was in between sizes or something, and you really want a waist belt to fit perfectly because it's going to define your waist, which is a very attractive part of you, and you want something that fits right. So it's really easy, and I hadn't done it before because I thought that can be really difficult. You need like a really strong sewing machine to get through leather and stuff. But I did this. So you have your waist belt, and you just get a knife, and the stitches are in there, and you just slip your knife between the band, and there'll be a little kind of like opening because it's sandwiched in there. And you just nip all the strings out, and you just pull it right out, and then when you pull it out, it looks kind of like this. And there's usually, or at least for me, there was about this much room, so if you wanted to make your waist belt bigger, you've got that much room on each side tucked into like here that you've got like a little bit of room to pull out, but there's definitely a lot more margin for shrinking your belt, and you literally just cut off however much you want of this. And I wasn't exactly sure, I was kind of figuring it out as I went, so I ended up taking both sides out because I thought, oh, it just doesn't fit, I'll just use this for a different project, and then I'll use this for a different project. And then I pulled it out and everything, and I was looking at it, I was like, I can just make this smaller. So literally it's so easy. You just got a needle and thread, and you want thread that's pretty close to the thread that was here, so you're not going to see like stitching and stuff. Once you have removed this from here, you snip off however much extra you want, or if you're making it bigger, you just pull it out a little bit, and you slip it back in there. Pins aren't really going to penetrate this, so you have to just kind of like continually make sure that it's even and it's all the way pushed in and stuff, because you want it to be snug, and you don't want this to be like tilted. Okay, and then you thread your needle, and I found that, I mean, if you want it to be really strong, you can double thread your needle, which is when you put the string in half and then thread your needle through that so that it's like 4 strands, and then that is really good for like, I don't know, buttons, or when you're sewing thicker materials that you would need a little bit more strength with. But I'm just going to do a single thread because I really don't want the thread to show because it doesn't match exactly to the thread they used. Sorry, I didn't really make myself up for this video. I was just doing this and realized I could share this with people because I didn't know. Like, I know how to sew, and I didn't think I could do this, and it's so easy. So when you had pulled out all the threads in here, you'll notice this material, maybe it won't be the same with all waist belts, but if it's like a suede or something, it'll leave like these punctures in it, and regularly you wouldn't be able to put a needle through something like this unless you like had a good thimble and a really strong needle and stuff, because it's just such a thick material. But you'll notice that all the little holes are still there from when they did it, and all you have to do is you want to hide your knot at the end. So start from the back, and you just want to, it's like those little sewing kits for children that like the holes are already there and you just have to pass the little needle through it. It's just like that. It's so easy. You're just taking out the threads and then changing the size of the belt and then just going right back through those holes. And then the trick to not being able to see your thread is you'll notice that, I'll show you, I already did this side. And you can't even really see where I was sewing it, but on the inside you can definitely see, and that's because when you pull your thread through, oh, I made it a little bit too long, the next hole that you go into is literally right beside there, and so it won't even show. And then just make sure you're coming back through a hole and not through like the belt at the back. And then once you're at the back, just find your next hole that you're going to go into. In my case, some of the old thread is still in the way. Okay, so you're going to have something like that. You need to break that off. Or, you know, seam ripper or something, or a knife, or scissors. Scissors work. Okay, so my next hole is going to be right in there, and just watch to make sure it comes through on the other side in the right spot. There we go. You have to kind of just feel around to find the exit. And it just goes right back in there, slips right through there. And this way, like, when you go to a thrift store and you just buy a belt, you could, if you find a really nice belt, but it's like a large, you could very easily just resize it this way. It's a useful little piece of knowledge to have. And what I'm doing, you can see that long stitches are on this side, and you can see where I messed up once. You can see the one thread, but for the most part you can't see. So really easy. When it's on this side you don't want the thread to show, so you put it back into the same hole and then it comes out on this side. It's a little bit tougher. You just find the next hole to put it through and just thread it right through there. Yeah, slips right through. As long as you're lining the needle up through both of them, you shouldn't have a problem. You want to use, don't use a big thick needle. You'd think, oh, it needs a thick needle, but because the holes are already there, you want a smaller one that will just slip right through. Okay, now you've reached the end. So put it back through, and then to finish off, put it through a hole, and then rather than going straight through the side, I'm going to come through the middle here. And hide my knot inside. Do a double knot in there, just to be safe, because it's a pretty leather and suede will leave a hole where the needle passes through, so you want to have a nice big knot. I had a knife somewhere. Wow, I'm sitting on it, that's not safe. Okay. And then obviously you would have sized it to make sure that it was going to fit you. And when you're measuring it, you want to be sure that you're not just saying, oh, this fits perfectly. You want it to stretch a little bit, because it's nice to tuck in the tummy with. This is not the best dress to be wearing this with because this one already has kind of a band. But you get the idea. It fits perfectly and it's got a little bit, it pulls it in a little bit so that it's not going to be slipping up and down. And that way if you wanted to wear it higher up here, it's not going to fall down on you because it's nice and snug. And you can see that it's strong. It's not just going to tag out because it's gone through the same holes, and so it's just as strong as the belt was before. And if you want to ensure that it's even stronger, like I said, you could do like a double threaded needle, and then that ensures that it's even stronger. But yeah, you can't even see. I sewed both ends and you can't see the stitches, but on the inside you can see what you've done. And that is it, really quickly. So, I hope you use this.